What began as a distant conflict in West Asia is now exposing the growing limits of traditional multilateral institutions as tensions involving the United States, Israel, and Iran continue to escalate. For ASEAN, the consequences are immediate because Southeast Asia remains heavily dependent on energy imports moving through the Strait of Hormuz, the Red Sea, and the wider Indian Ocean. But the risks extend beyond oil and gas, as critical supplies such as fertilizers, helium, sulfur, and industrial feedstock used in semiconductor production also pass through these maritime choke points. When shipping costs rise and supply chains tighten, the effects quickly spread through Southeast Asia through inflation, food insecurity, and manufacturing disruptions. That is why the crisis is forcing ASEAN to rethink whether large multilateral institutions can still respond effectively during periods of geopolitical instability. The United Nations Security Council remains constrained by veto politics, while even within ASEAN itself, the principle of consensus can sometimes slow urgent decision-making. During periods of stability, such caution may preserve unity, but during systemic crises, excessive proceduralism can become a strategic weakness. This is where mini-lateralism is gaining importance through smaller and more flexible coalitions focused on practical objectives without requiring universal consensus. Importantly, this does not mean abandoning ASEAN centrality, but rather adapting regional cooperation to survive an increasingly fragmented global order. In many ways, ASEAN has already experimented with this model through trilateral cooperation between Malaysia, Indonesia, and the Philippines against piracy and terrorism in the Sulu-Sulawesi Seas. Similarly, Singapore, Malaysia, and Indonesia have coordinated maritime security in the Straits of Malacca for years through practical and targeted cooperation. As the war in West Asia drags on, ASEAN members continue to face different strategic priorities, ranging from maritime security and financial resilience to industrialization, energy stability, and food security. In this new strategic environment where globalization alone can no longer guarantee stability, minilateralism may no longer be just an option for ASEAN, but an emerging necessity. For the full analysis, read Far Kim Bing's opinion piece for ASEAN, Minilateralism More Practical Than Multilateralism on FMT.